Welcome back to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored. I'm in my podcasting room. I'm by myself. I'm in the middle of a war in Dubai. And I thought about all the things we could talk about. So I put a questionnaire up. I just wanted to do a semi-update for you, where we are in life, what we're up to. So as you know, it's a very odd time for where we are in general, just because, it's not about feeling in danger, because I don't at all. It's just the mental state of sort of like, you know, whatever happens in the news, 1 minute, should I stay? Should I go? Am I okay? And then, just getting your head around that. But I'm really glad I stayed. I'm really glad that I stayed. And as I said, you guys keep reaching out and saying, are we being paid? We're not. But let me tell you, it's really hard to leave a country that's given you so much. And that's really, I've raised my children here. I've built all my businesses here. I lost, everything in the UK and built it all back here. I don't think I'd have been able to do that as quickly as I have anywhere else in the world. So that's, something that I take into consideration a lot. And that this is my home. Like, I don't want to go and sit in somebody else's home, in somebody else's space, as lovely as people have been. And friends of ours have been overwhelmingly generous. So that's really, it. And I think, what I wanted to say as well is talk about manifesting and talking about creating your own amazing life. And I think, I have never, ever not taken any of this for granted. I don't think I've ever taken it for granted. And I think that's something that you guys always say when you watch me on social media is like, oh, it's so sweet. Every room you go into or every hotel you stay at. Like, I've stayed in a million hotels. I'm 50 years old. Like, I mean, there's not many places I haven't been. There's not many amazing homes I haven't been to, famous people that I wanted to meet that I haven't, but at the end of the day, like, to lose that, oh, it's just another one, to lose the excitement for being in these places or meeting these people or, having these experiences, how sad would that be? What a shame, because we do get so excited. Maybe that's why we're major manifestors. I don't know, and I believe, and also I want everyone to understand that manifesting, again, is not a magic wand. It's something everyone can do. It's basically training your mind to let them know that nothing is out of your reach. Like, I think going through my court case, going through the divorce, going through a move, going through, a separation all at once completely blocked me, because you live in a constant state of fear, a constant state of like, what, holy fuck, because you're getting lawyers' letters from the divorce lawyer, you're getting lawyers' letter from, the people you're going to court with, you're getting, everyone's telling you you're crazy because you're marrying a 24-year-old, nothing good is coming through to your system. So your whole body is like this. So then you're like, oh my God, then you're going, oh, I need to have a release because I've had a shit day. I'm going to go out with the girls. And then you drink yourself into oblivion. And then what happens? You have the best time in the evening and you wake up the next day and it takes you 3 days to recover and you're feeling shocking. And then you're reliving what you may have said, what you may have done, where you were. Like, it's a horrible, horrible cycle. Of course, you're not manifesting anything. Like, of course you're not, because you've trained your brain to know that you're utter shit. That's what you're telling yourself. And everybody's telling you all the day, oh, there she goes, that pathetic woman whose, life's fallen apart, because people do love it when your life falls apart. Trust me, they love it. And, you'll always find you have more friends when you're miserable than you do when you're not. So just remember that, ladies. And, it's human nature to reach out when someone's, in a pathetic state and not when they're like not. And if I think about, I wish I had my vision board in front of me now, but all the things that I've manifested from this one to the next one to whatever, it's about being in alignment with your thoughts, right? I think I've always had the same thoughts. Forever, I wanted a white house on the water. I told you, forever, from lying in my bedroom at boarding school when I was miserable, but I chose to take myself out. I had this like dream world in my head, right? And I think also watching old school, it's funny taking Sergio through the 80s of movies, because I'm watching all these old school movies and I just don't make them like that anymore. But anyway, I think, when I was obviously 13, 14, 15 at school, we watched so many movies, and that, you fell in love with the lead man and you like you were whisked away to like some remote place in your head of like what life was going to be like. You remember Cocktail? We all married Tom Cruise on that beach. And like, but we visualized it. Like, it was like, I mean, obviously not Tom Cruise, but like, it was like in our heads, that's what we wanted. Everybody wanted to be whisked off. Pretty Woman, we were all like prostitutes in New York at the time, waiting for somebody to pick us up in our heads, right? So I think, it's really interesting to see because we all want a better life. We all want things for ourselves, and it's funny because some girls, like I met a girl today who was saying, oh, I married a really rich man and then I was miserable. So then I went the opposite way and decided to, get the really handsome man who did fuck all. And, now I'm paying for it, right? Look, it isn't black or white. That's the whole thing. It is not black or white. You either have to go rich or you go poor. I saw potential in my husband. There are many men that like step up to the plate, ladies. There are many men who just need the love of a good woman or somebody to believe in them to be able to go forward and to create an amazing life together. So Sergio and I very much manifest together because we both want it. This whole island house, and you guys have asked me questions about it too, came about. This is the weirdest story. We were on an island. And, we were with all our friends having the best time, just me and him, on the beach, walking around. And I just said to him, it's all I've ever wanted. It's all I've ever wanted. I've always known I would end up on an island. I didn't know which one. I didn't know where it was. I didn't know how. But I said, I'm going to end up on an island looking at the ocean every single day. And that's how I'm going to wake up. And that's how I'm going to die there. And he was like, oh, I've always wanted that. And that's also weird, right? That he, not only age 31, is going, I'm ready for that. Because that could have been a big block in our relationship too. He could have gone, I'm not leaving the city right now. I don't want to go and sit on an island with you, just the two of us. I mean, obviously we'd have friends and family come out, but like essentially just us. And what the fuck are we going to do? But we never get bored. Because again, we've manifested our best lives together so that, neither of us have to go to an office. All the money we make is for us. And it doesn't feel like work. People are like, oh my God, you never stop working. No, we never stop working because my husband's getting up at 2 a.m. to take a retreat call, right? That's what happens when you love something. You do it regardless. Like, people always ask me on the retreats, how do you do? Like, I do probably 9 a.m. till 7 or 8 at night for the one-on-ones. And everyone's going, oh my God, the energy must be so difficult for you. I mean, not really. It is on my back and on my, sitting position. So sometimes I have to lie down because just sitting in a chair all those hours and all of that. And I'm wanting to give everybody what they need. But no, not at all. I'm not sitting there like twiddling my thumbs going, fuck, let this end. Because every woman's story is so different and so special. I literally love it. Like, I literally love it. Yes, if I hated it, it would be torture. Absolute torture listening to everybody's story. But I love it. I really feel like I could go on. The only thing that stops me is that dinner arrives and I've got to sit for dinner with everyone. Otherwise, I wouldn't stop the one-on-ones. I love them. And that's, everything that we do that's in our stratosphere, we genuinely believe in and love. And that's why I think so many of you are connected to us, because it doesn't feel like a big sell, because it really is our life and we live it, and we live it through all of us, and we do it. And I think that's what a dream life is, right? So, when we're designing our bedroom and everything that I'm designing on the new house, and I was telling you the story. Sorry. So we were on this island and Sergio held up the camera and took a video of the ocean. He goes, oh, we're going to end up here. We're going to end up not in that island, but like living in an island. This is how we're going to live. And then we get on a boat to go home, and someone on a neighboring island DMs us and says, I have some land for sale. And I was like, looked at the land. I was like, oh, this is gorgeous. So I sent it to a friend who's building there. And I said, could I borrow a lawyer? Because I want to see if this is real. Maybe this is where I'm going to end up. And he wrote back going, well, you can have a lawyer, but why wouldn't you come do this with me? Like, I'm here and I'm doing this. And why wouldn't you, And that's how it happened. And the next thing we know, our one house turned into 8 villas on a cliff on 10 hectares. And, we're very nearly done. And, and we have a wait list for people that want to live like that. I mean, I think with the way of the world right now, who wouldn't want to live like that? But, that's how manifestation works, because we took the steps and things fell into the place. It's amazing how fast you manifest when it's meant for you and it's aligned for you. What are the chances? What are the chances? And the guy that said, let's do it together, you'll find out later who it is. I've known him for years. So has Sergio. I never even thought to ask him. Because we were just going to do our own home, and we're building in Bali. So it was like so far off the radar. But then when it suggested, it made so much sense, because what was my other biggest dream? With the retreats, I'm building community. What do women miss? Community and living with people, and and nobody wants to be alone anymore. And, it's funny because I grew up in the countryside in Dorset, where the nightmare would be to have a house next to each other. Like, the further away you are from civilization, the better. And then I moved to Dubai, and my house is slap bang, no matter how much. I mean, my house is gazillions of dollars. And, I live slap bang next to somebody. And I was like, oh my God, at the beginning, this is like my nightmare. Because obviously we bought it off plan. I didn't know how what this would look like. And the more I live like this, first of all, I never see my neighbors. So I don't know, maybe they're hiding from me. I doubt it. But second of all, I don't hear them. I don't feel looked upon. Everyone goes, aren't you looked at? I don't. I mean, maybe I am. Maybe I'm naive, but I don't see it. I don't feel it. And, the nice thing is when I'm alone, and when everyone, not that happens very often, but if I'm alone in the house, I never feel like, I don't have someone near me if I need something. And there's a community group chat too, so you can see people if you want to see people. I can go to the gym, I can get my hair done, I can go to Waitrose, all of these things. But if I don't want to and I want to be alone, that's okay, I can. And that's amazing. And I thought to myself, I mean, obviously this is a town, and this is a very fast pace of life, but I would like to have that on an island, because obviously if you're alone on an island, you have this security issues I thought about for myself, like if I grow old there, or maybe I just want to see someone at night. My friend did this in Ibiza, and they have like a central clubhouse, and people can go to dinner if they want, but you don't have to see anyone if you don't want, because our plots are huge. So that's really where it came from, was what I wanted. And then the more I spoke about it to people, I was like, oh, that's what I want. Oh, that's what I want. And then I realized I was completely onto something, because I'm going to know every single person in that community, and every single person's going to know me. And, if I'm away or I'm traveling, they can watch my house. I can watch their house. If you want, and what a nice community that is, and I intend to be there. Like, I intend to live there, properly live there, and have my friends and see people. And I'm so excited for the next chapter, because that's what's coming. And I'm going to take my animals, and you see, I visualized it. And that was my step. I went there, and now every day I'm making a step towards it. I've designed my bedroom. I've designed each room. I know I can see it. I can smell it. I've got lavender in the garden. Like, I can see it. I am specific. I am down to now the size of everything, the stone we're using. We are at that level now. So it's become incredibly real. My children, sorry, I've got such an itch. My children have chosen their bedrooms. We have a guest cottage, a turtle house for my bubbles. It's really manifested from the dream I had, but it's not like I've just sat at home and put a picture of a house on a vision board and going, that's my house, that's my house. No, obviously, not going to work, right? We're not making children's vision boards for a school project. You have to do the work, people. And that's what I think people have forgotten. That's what Instagram makes it seem like. That's what people don't understand, the grit and the grind that goes behind all this. There is a lot. It does not just appear. I take the meetings. We look at, every measurement. We choose the fabrics. And, every day we push for this to happen. We signed the contracts. All the deals I continue to push. Nothing amazing, nothing great comes easy. It takes persistence. I've had many deals that did not happen. I've had other deals that have got this far and still collapsed, but I get back up and I go, oh, well, next. That's what life is about. Next, okay, what can I do now? And Sergio has that drive. He has that in him. He always did. And that's what I was attracted to. So look, it's this thing about, oh, well, he doesn't have as much money as you, or, I can't be with someone that's just waiting around for me. Sergio doesn't wait around for me, first of all. He works his fucking ass off. But second of all, we're a team. When one person has got the energy, the other person hasn't, and vice versa. But we also relax together. We laugh together. Yes, we argue like anyone argues, but we just don't, we don't sit on it all day. We understand the bigger picture. As I said, it's not about Sergio being, a eunuch and not thinking other women are attractive. I'm sure if I left Sergio alone long enough, he would find, another woman attractive, 100%. But what it is that keeps my husband here is the shared manifestation and dream life we have. There is no other woman that can offer him what I offer him right now, which is the shared dream of building everything together. And that is it. And I think that's confidence, and that's understanding your power. That's not, don't dull your sparkle. We all have it, and I think we underplay stuff, and I certainly have in front of other women because, there she is talking about herself again. There she is, blowing her own trumpet. Well, if you don't blow your own trumpet, who's going to? Who's going to? Because nobody does today because, we're all quite selfish and that's it. So, that's how I have manifested. And I've got some of your questions that you've sent me today, and quite a lot of them actually. So I'm going to try and get through as many as I can. But name 3 things to start immediately to become more successful in your work life. Well, first of all, I think I've just done it for you because it's mindset. And it's learning to take the steps every single day, even if you think it's impossible. When I had very little money left and I had all these bills to pay and everything else, I could have collapsed like anybody else and gone, I can't do this anymore. Like, what am I doing? Like, I could have just gone into complete meltdown mode. But somehow I had the strength and the foresight to understand that's going to get me nowhere. Like, what would have been the benefit for me if I did not get back up or just think another way? Right? Nothing. No one will ever hand you enough money to solve your problems. No one's going to make it better for you. Crying won't help. Making yourself hyperventilate and unable to work won't help. You need to sit down and strategize in your head. If right isn't working, turn left. So I would say 3 things to start immediately is changing your routine. Really helps. Again, I don't want to sound woo-woo, because I'm not woo-woo at all. Like my retreats aren't woo-woo. I'm not woo-woo. I believe in action. Why do I believe in a morning routine after something like this? And sometimes, like now I'm very in line with myself and I'm very at peace. So I don't need such a strict morning routine. But if you've gone through some sort of drastic change in your life and you've been very emotional and you've lost a lot of things, then I think the morning routine, there is nothing more powerful. You must get up. You must get dressed. You must get dressed into a way that makes you feel powerful. That is not your tracksuit with like baby spit all over it. It is not. You must face the world in a very powerful world. Even if you're feeling shit inside, make everyone else believe you're fine. Give up the alcohol for whatever period of time it is, because you can't afford to drink, because you can't afford the hangover. Health is wealth, because when you have a clear mind, you can do anything. You can achieve anything. And I truly believe it. Truly believe it. I don't mean get ridiculous goals. Get what do you really want? Really think hard, dig deep. So, mindset, morning routine, and movement in the morning. Like there is something about, bounce on a trampoline, a tiny one at home. Just get the blood flowing through your body. That's it. And start your day. And I promise you, and write 3 things you're grateful for. In the midst of your hell, write 3 things that you're grateful for. And there must be 3 to be alive, frankly. I always think about people that are happy, that are in way worse positions. Your best day, your worst day, someone's wishing for. Remember that. What else? So, how do you make a decision if you're not sure it's right, but your heart tells you it is? Well, I've done this my whole life. I follow my heart, really. Sorry, my heart, not my head. And my gut, I suppose. Sergio was a giant, giant risk for me because it so could have gone wrong. And everyone would go, ha ha, told you so, what an idiot. You left your beautiful life, your beautiful husband. Again, I didn't. That's not why I left. But you know what I mean? That people would like to think that's why I was left. And look at you now. Bet you wish you were in your giant house in Surrey. No, I've never, ever wished I was back there. I've never looked back. And I don't believe in that. So I think I've made many decisions like that. I've started huge businesses. I've raised money with big funds. I've made very tough decisions to get out of things that I've had to do when I've cut off a limb to save a body. I believe the hardest decisions are always, always the best. When you have to make a very uncomfortable turn in life, they lead to incredible roads. What else? Self-confidence. Oh, quite a few have asked me about this. Self-confidence, who taught you to be in front of a camera? I never did a course, but I think, first of all, when I went on to reality TV, I was just thrown on in. And I think because I was running my everyday life, I didn't have time to think about what angle was going to be the best for me. And by the way, even if I did, they would have done the exact opposite anyway. So that, and I think I used to have a radio show with Chris Fade as well, and that just got me used to talking. And this actually, even though I'm talking to thousands and thousands of you, obviously I'm in my room by myself. I don't have to feel self-conscious. It's just me. And if you don't like it, I guess you turn off, right? And that's just how it goes. And the confidence, I think, came from being at boarding school where many people didn't like me. And I'm sure many people don't like me today, too. Someone's saying, tell us about the beachfront house. I've just told you loads about that. Where do I feel most powerful right now, privately or publicly? I feel incredibly powerful in my own home. And I think for a long time I didn't, because I didn't feel comfortable, or I wasn't. When you're in a bad marriage, and again, I don't mean a bad marriage where it's just miserable. I think where you've just grown apart and you're lonely and you're not in sync anymore, and you're getting into bed but you've got nothing to say to each other. You don't have anything in common, and it's there's nothing terrible. But that is the worst. It's the actual worst, where, it takes your power, because you get home and you're you shrink yourself because you kind of just don't want to be asked questions. You just want to go to bed. I feel incredibly powerful. I go downstairs now. I'm with my husband that I work with every day. My team's downstairs, and I just love, my kids are happy. Nothing makes me feel more powerful and successful than being in my own home and seeing what I've created, because the joy that I have with my happy sons and, my husband, obviously my daughter, but she's not here very often. So, but just, even when she calls me and I'm I've created that. I have created all of this from something that could have been really shit. I know plenty of divorced people who cannot do what I do. And coming from where I came from, considering what, he feels I did to him, we are in a fucking amazing place. So I feel incredibly powerful and incredibly proud about everything that I've done. And I can say that out loud. I am patting myself on the back because I deserve it, because that's bloody hard work. Because anyone that's been through a divorce like I have, especially as I said, running, having a 20-year younger guy, which most men would like die over. They'd be so angry. I'm pretty proud that we're at this place. So pretty fucking proud. My embryo, there you go. You're all asking. It is currently frozen. Well, obviously it's frozen here, and we are transporting it. We are transporting it to Georgia, the country. Why Georgia? Just because it's much easier than the States from here. I'm not flying 17 hours. And I think we'll probably end up, seeing what happens, throwing the dart at the board and seeing, we've got one and done. So, whatever happens is in my mind. I think we've totally fulfilled the two of us. And obviously, I keep reminding him, my children are going to have children, right? So he's going to have all these little people running around that he's going to get a hold of, and which I frankly think will be better than children for us. But, I do think this is something that's super important to Sergio. And sometimes, I might actually, when I get to the island, I might really enjoy it this time around. Who knows? And my kids are getting older and they're so easy. And I really, 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 really love them all. And it's just, so much fun now in my house. It really, really is. Especially now that they're all able to do their own thing, and they've got these amazing personalities, and they're so good to me, and they're so helpful. I'm so proud of how polite my boys are and how helpful they are in the house, which is amazing. Where is my favorite place to holiday? Well, funny enough, I don't know. My kids would say Saint-Tropez just because they have a lot of friends. I've been going for most of my life, since I was a teenager, if not before. And so it's so fun to take my children. And, the great thing is it's one of those places that's safe. And you feel that the kids can just run off at night and go and see their friends, and they go clubbing, they do their own thing. And it's just, and they're all the kids of my friends. So it's so special just to see them enjoying. Even if I haven't seen my friends in years, some of them will like text me going, "Oh my God, I've just seen your son. He looks just like you." So it's really, really fun. And this holiday we're doing it again, and we're doing it with really good friends, and my daughter's coming too. And it's actually one holiday that they all three really love because they all have friends that migrate there. And it's just and I'm so proud of myself being able to do that too on my own. Like that is something so special to be able to give my kids, because, that holiday is my holiday, and, we have to do that. So it is what it is. How would my life look if I had not met Sergio? Well, that's very interesting. And sometimes we both think about it, right? Because it really was a split second. I've never been to Newport Beach. He wasn't coming because he'd been playing football in Europe, and I would never have a plan to go back. So, he always maintains God wanted us to meet, because what was the likelihood of us meeting? Probably a big fat zero, right? So it was so positioned in our DNA. Sergio actually says that he was born for me. Like God put him on this earth for me. That he truly believes that. And you know what? Funny enough, I'm beginning to think he's right, because, he fits so perfectly into my life, and he's so willing and eager to be in my life and to make it work. Which, it's a lot of work to be with a 50-year-old woman who's got a big life, who does all of these crazy things, and and to love it. And he truly loves it. You could not do this if you did not love it, and to be as kind as he is, and to be as loving as he is, and to be, he's a worker bee. He absolutely loves what he does. And I think that the work has fulfilled him in so many different ways. So I don't know where I'd be. I don't know who's going to put up with me. Probably be single, I guess. Sergio would have gone on and had, a nice life with probably a traditional Spanish girl and have a few babies by now, probably. I don't know. I don't know where either of us would be. It's a very interesting one, but I do think about it sometimes. What motto do I live by? Well, I think my motto is, try everything once, right? Say yes to as many things as you can, because the ones that I was always unsure about, like, oh my God, I can't do that, that's nuts, have always been the most amazing experience. Look at the Himalayas. Like, everyone told me not to climb the Himalayas. Like, I'm going to hate it. 9.5 days on a mountain is no fucking joke, I can assure you. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, I had not thought that through one little bit. And, also the pooping on the mountain, all of these things. It's no joke. And I did it. And I hated the first 3 days. Like, I literally loathed it. I was on the brink. And then at the end, it was the best thing I've ever done. So that's it. You can't judge. You can't judge. The most stressful, hard things that you ever do in your life are some of the best. Building my business, from one person at a dining room table to 86 people, to going through all of these things, to raising money from funds. So stressful, like so fucking stressful. But I wouldn't change any of it. The experience, the journey, the people I met on the way, even if I didn't like them or they didn't, things have changed. Wow. How do I have all this energy? I have no idea. I think it's not energy. It's just like excitement for life. I have a very short term memory, which is great. In some ways it's not, but I don't dwell on things. I don't sit and go, oh my God, everything was awful back then, or I can't remember so much of it. Once it's over, it's over. Like, if you ask me about the court case, I mean, obviously I know I was in one and I can remember certain bits of it. And then I remember winning, and that's it. I don't hold on to any of this stuff. Like, it's the next experience, the next experience. And, I think the energy is driven by me just wanting to get up to see the next thing, because I just want to keep going until I can't keep going. I know that I've seen this thing where they go, we've only got, 15 summers left or whatever it is. And then it seems so short. And then I've got so much to do. Like, I have so much to do. I want to conquer the world in so many different places. I wanted my own TV show. I want to build Bali. I want to build 5 of Bali's, actually. Bali's on full force now. I've got to find, a new investor for that. I've got to, I'm going to start building off Zanzibar now. I'm not going to sit down. Why would I sit down? I can't wait to get to Zanzibar and see my new house. Where we're going to put it. I need to go and choose the land, the plot. I'm so excited for life. There are so many good things. And by the way, no matter what's happening right now in the Middle East, watch this space. Watch this space. This country will recover in ways that you wouldn't even know possible. I'm sure of it. Like, I'm so sure of it. That's why I'm sat here right now. I'm not looking to move to the States and to move to another country. Like, I know that we're going to recover and I'm going to become bigger and better than ever here. And, I really can't wait to see what that looks like. What opportunities arise from this, because there's going to be a lot. So, energy comes from excitement. That's all it is. And if you want the unnatural way, I suppose I also do peptides, which I've talked about a lot. NAD, getting your hormones right, making sure all of that is right. But, I really believe, as I've always said, if you love what you do, you never have to wait. No. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And that's how I feel. I love, love, love what I do. More than anything. I've separated from my marriage recently and lost and don't know where to start. From my 24 hours marriage. I don't know what that means. You're married for 24 hours. If you were married for 24 hours, you shouldn't really feel lost. But if you've been married for quite a long time and you're lost and you've lost your identity, well, women do that all the time. And I want to say, we all want to make our man happy, but at the end of the day, giving up ourselves and our own identity never makes anyone happy. It doesn't make the man happy. He thinks it's what he wants. It's not what he wants. Men love women with their own identity and their own shit going on. They may complain about it. They may go, oh, she's never available. But they want it, okay? No man really wants somebody that just sits around all day waiting for them to come home. No. So, I think use this time, you channel this feeling. Instead of feeling lost, get excited. Get excited for what your next chapter looks like. Who are you? You can only do that in silence. Sit and really, really dig deep. Who are you? What do you visualize yourself as? What is your dream? And I did that a lot, actually, by looking at powerful women around me. Now, I'm not saying emulate them. I'm not saying become them. Don't be single white female, but just pick the things that you like and why do you like them and what do you think you could do? And then take your steps and really think about what this next chapter looks like for you. And ladies, please stop pinning your life on a man. Stop it. Because when you do that, you're only setting yourself up for failure, not because the man can't provide it or whatever, but you put so much pressure on him. I think Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell are a perfect fucking example. Perfect. They both had their own stuff going on. They've been together 43 years. They've never got married. So they both knew that they don't need to be there. They're both highly paid movie stars, but they chose each other. And they keep choosing each other. And that's amazing. Really amazing. And I think when you push a man into him being your everything, that's when we all fuck ourselves. It can't work. Like, who wants that? I just don't understand in today's world why that's even attractive or you would want that for yourself. Even Lauren Sanchez has gone to work, right? Get to work, ladies. Get an identity. Money doesn't build happiness. It doesn't. And I think that's really, really important. How does your company's financials work? The team behind it, budgeting, forecasting. I don't know what that means exactly. I mean, like any other business. We have a few businesses and few businesses, and like any other business, we have to, you manage your money as it comes in, where it goes out, which bills get paid first, and you hope it's like a circular beast. I have a finance team who look at it. We look at the end of each month which bills will go in first as the money comes in. We know which accounts we have, who's coming in, what's due to us, just as anyone else. But if you don't know how to run accounts, ladies, and of course, you've got to learn. You've got to learn. You can never stress out because everybody's got in and out, and it always looks like bleak at the end of the month, but it's not. Because it's moving. Money is forever moving. It goes in, it comes out, it works for you, it grows, all of these things. You've got to spend money to make money. And that's life. There's banks, there's, all these things that you need to learn and be in charge of. And that's also super exciting. It's a big, big part of it. And, I'm so proud of myself. I don't really have a lot of debt. I don't have credit cards, really. I mean, the financial system in the Middle East is very different from anyone else. I mean, you don't really have... there are more debit cards here, which I think is great because you don't really live off debt. Let me see what's next. So many good questions. Like I could go on. How to stay positive. Well, I've always said to you, positive is my superpower. It's very easy. If I feel like this is a shit day, it's dark outside, we're in the middle of a war, 50 missiles went over me yesterday. What am I doing? If I get to that stage, then I look around. I'm like, wait, there's been over 1,000 missiles aimed at the Middle East, yet not one has landed. Not one. Then I'm like, wow, what an amazing job this country's doing. I'm already positive. Then I'm like, oh, I'll just go and sit outside and I can hear the water. I'll turn the water on. Positive. Look at my beautiful things in my closet or, things that girls love to do. My hair salon is killing it. I love it. Positive. Just change every negative into a positive. I've got food on the table. Like I have so many things to look forward to. An email comes in, we'd like you to work for this. Oh, positive. So I just don't focus on any negative, nothing. I really tend not to do that because there's no upside to it. How do I pile through and stay focused on my dream life? Because it's all I think about. It's all I want. It's all I work towards. And I'm doing less and less that's not aligned with that. So I very rarely go out now. I don't really party at all anymore. Went out with friends and I left the lunch. I am all about getting to my goal and getting to my end game. Now that Bali's built, as I said, we're now fully embedded in it, and I love it. And I've got friends involved in it, who are my investors. So the next one, I'm now in that state where I have to look for another one, and I'm really enjoying that process because I'm really going to pick the right person. And, it's like a family business in a way. And that's my end goal. I'm so focused on every single dream that's on my vision board because the end is in sight, because I can see the build happening. I can see the drawings for this one. I can see that I don't have time to do anything that takes my mind off it. And I won't. I'm really, really, really driven for something that's going to benefit me, right? I make me really happy so that I, can live and choose. About the divorce, do you still protect your peace to focus on your career goals? I don't think about my divorce. It's not important to me because many people are in divorce. It's a period of life. Like, we had 18 years of marriage. I don't feel like that's a failure. I think that's something very positive. I built a great life with him. It's just we didn't continue together, and he's happy and I'm happy. So I really don't feel like I need to focus on that again. It was a part of me. And women that focus only on what they've lost all the time, you can't possibly go on and conquer the world. You just can't. And I feel like that's all it is. I think, focusing forward and putting yourself in a good space and just surrounding yourself with people like that, you can achieve anything. Don't go back. You're divorced. Like, why do you need to talk about it? Don't. You're not going backwards. It's over. Say something inspiring for someone, feel hope. Look, there's hope for everyone. Many people, I think the thing is, many people start from nothing. When we were doing all this, we didn't have like ChatGPT and Claude and all these things that can help find you things to do or side hustles. You had to go in, like, you could be a lawyer, a banker, or whatever it was. You had about 3 options. Now you have so many, and I understand that when you get so many, you kind of get also a bit sort of, driven left and right. But the exciting thing is you can be anything you want to be today. You really can. And you can build an audience and you can build people that are loyal to you just by doing this. So I would say, focus on what you have to offer. Every single one of you has something to offer. And that's what's so exciting. It's really, really lovely to help people, to show the world what you have to offer somebody. I think putting yourself down because you're not enough or you're not the same as them or you can see that they've got more. Don't do that, because some of the most successful people in the world came from absolutely nothing. And, you've got to remember that. Most really successful people came out of necessity. I always get asked, how do you make all of it back when you really had nothing left? Well, I don't know is the answer. I think going to banks, just not giving up, speaking to people, learning how to do it. There's always a way. There's always a way. There really, truly is. It's like people that work within my office I used to say, they'd come and say, oh, we can't do this. This has happened. I'm like, no, go out of my office, come back with a solution. There's a solution to every single problem. There is. And I think you're either one of those people or you're not. And that's why mindset comes back in. Find the solution. Plenty of people didn't have money. Amazon was built in a garage. Like, I'm sorry, there is a way. And now, we needed teams of people to help. Now you don't even need that. Everything's online. You can do it. You can do it. And I think that just being brave, and I think that's women's. Stop focusing on what other people have or what you don't have, and stops that, because that just manifests in your own life. If you're always worried about other people and what they think of you and what if it goes wrong, and other people's opinions. I'm in Housewives. Like, I was in Housewives. I'm going to have some asshole's opinion daily. People love to write to me. But I don't need to deal with it because it's their problem, not mine. I am living a very nice life. And if I let all of that bad energy in, I would collapse. I really have learned to block it out. When you hear it from people that, through people that whatever else, of course it like digs. You're like, but they are determined to see the worst in you. They are all, and normally when people that you know or close to you do that, it's because somehow you're triggering something in deep inside them that they really want, either your approval or, your attention. So ladies, don't let that disparage you. You can do it. And I just want to say, keep going, manifest your best life. It's out there and available for everyone. If there are places to move, if you're stuck where you live or people around you are shrinking you, move house, move city, start again, build afresh. You'll be amazed when you meet new people. I moved to Dubai not knowing anyone. You'll be amazed when you meet new people who don't have that judgment on you, how exhilarating and exciting that is. Starting fresh is not to be underestimated. Thank you for listening to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored. Don't forget to rate and review. And thank you for listening.